everyone, and welcome back to Pilates on the Water. And in our last video we covered some exercises that could be useful to improve problems you might be having with posture or with your upper back. So in today's video I thought we would concentrate on the lower back a little bit more, and if you are experiencing any stiffness or problems with your lower back, of course the first thing to do is to get it checked properly by your GP and get a proper diagnosis. But if you're just experiencing some stiffness or need to release the tension in your lower back, some of the exercises we're going to be doing today could be very useful. Do check out some of our other videos for adaptations or modifications that can also be useful for people who are doing Pilates that have problems with their back. Anyway, we're going to start down on the mat first of all, so we'll come carefully down onto the mat and find our neutral spine position. So in your neutral spine position, we need to just place those feet in line with your hip bones, a small space between the knees and the feet, nice and long through the spine, and just encouraging that chin to drop down by lengthening the back of the neck. If you need to place your head block or towel beneath your head to achieve that neutral alignment in your neck, then just pop your head block there ready. You'll find in your neutral spine position, we're all put together a little bit differently, that there will be a small curve in the lumbar section of your spine. Now don't worry if yours is rather large or non-existent at all, we do vary according to how we're all put together. Your pelvis should be level with the floor in your neutral spine position. So if you feel just around the pelvis with your fingertips and just place that pelvis in that level position, we can start to begin to find our core muscles. With your inward breath, breathe in through the nose to lengthen into the crown of the head. And then open the mouth, and as you breathe out, just begin to tighten those tummy muscles and draw your belly button towards your spine on your outward breath. You should feel the muscles underneath your fingertips beginning to tauten and tighten. Now we're going to bring the arms down beside us and really lengthen into those fingertips. So stretching down with the shoulders, finding the mat underneath the shoulder blades and lengthening the fingers close by your sides. We'll inhale, and as you exhale, tightening those tummy muscles to find those core muscles and include a gentle lift up with your pelvic floor. We're not altering the angle of the pelvis yet. On the next few breaths though, we're just going to give that lower back a little stretch. So this time, as you breathe out, I'm going to draw the pelvis back towards you, lowering the belly button towards the mat to tilt the pelvis backwards, pushing the lumbar spine closer to the mat. On the inward breath, return your pelvis back to its neutral or level position. And we'll do that a few times. Take your outward breath and tilt that pelvis back towards you, lengthening and stretching the lower back. And at the same time, we're drawing down with the lower part of the rib cage. So engaging the ribs downwards to flatten the torso, just at the top of the abdominals there. And we'll do a few more. Nice outward breath. Tilt that pelvis, engage the core, and the inward breath to release. It's just a small move. We'll do two more. And one more, drawing the ribs downwards towards your hips to tilt the pelvis back towards you. Progressing that move a little bit further now into some pelvic curls. Just bring the heels slightly closer to the body so you have a little bit more help now from the legs as well. Make sure the weight is even over the soles of your feet. Inward breath to lengthen the spine. Exhale as you tilt back towards you. And now we're going to begin to lift the tailbone The buttocks are unpeeling from the floor and beginning to curl a little bit away with the lower back. We're not coming too far away from the mat, just a small distance, and keep those abs engaged, belly button drawing towards the spine. Inhale to re-peel. Do these at your own pace. Exhale to tilt and curl, perhaps coming a quarter, a third, or halfway up, making a space underneath your lower back, and inhaling to re-peel gently that lower back to your mat. We'll do one more for luck. Well done. Returning to your neutral spine, on the next move, we're going to come all the way up to the top of that bridge position. Make sure your fingers are extended. You can feel the mat underneath both shoulders and the backs of your arms. Lengthening the back of the neck, we're engaging the core. You might need to bring the heels slightly closer in. We'll inhale to prepare and use the exhalation again to unpeel, starting at the base of the spine, pressing down with the belly button, engaging the core, and then unpeeling up all the way now to the top of the shoulders. We're keeping that position nice and level and square. Make sure the knees are in line with your heels. The weight is even over the soles of your feet, and we're pressing gently down with the backs of those arms as well. Inhale, and then use your exhalation to re-peel upper, middle, and lower spine, slowly returning back to your neutral position. Well done. Next, we're going to find our bridge position again, and this time hold it. Inhale to prepare, exhale, tilt and curl, drawing that belly button strongly towards your spine and your ribs moving down and in as you unpeel to the top of your bridge. Establish your square position. We're using the hands and the arms gently down into the mat and the backs of the shoulders, lengthening the back of the neck. Lifting one heel. Keep the toe down, return that heel, and then the opposite side. Really stretch that foot as you lift and lower, alternate heels. We'll use the exhalation to lift. Well done. Just one more each side. See if you can hold your bridge position. And then both heels. Hold it there. Bring one arm and reach overhead, out behind you. Lengthen those fingertips. Then the other arm. Stretch the ends of the fingers. Lift that tail. Now lower the heels. And slowly exhale as you bring the arms back overhead and down to the mat. Inhale, exhale and re-peel slowly down. Well done. Now next we're going to change the position of the feet. So we'll bring the feet in a little bit closer together now. There's no space between the toes, heels or knees. Still, we have the arms close to the body for now. Inhale to lengthen in your neutral spine position. And then exhale to go through your pelvic tilt. And then curling up to a narrow shoulder bridge position. See if you can keep those knees pushed together. Now just move the hands a little wider so the fingers are pointing to the outside of your mat. We're going to open the knees out to the side, squeeze those glutes to activate them, and then bring the knees together and squeeze using the inside of your thighs, the adductor muscles. And again, we'll inhale to open, exhale and squeeze the glutes, lift that tail, squeeze the knees together. 2 more. Inhale to open, keep the feet together. Exhale and squeeze. 1 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. Maintain your narrow shoulder bridge and then exhale to repeel. Well done. Just draw those knees in towards you and gently rock them in and out to ease out your lower back. We'll take some deep, slow relaxation breaths as you tuck the knees and release. You can rock them a little bit to the side, a little bit side to side as well. Now we're going to extend one leg down the mat. So slide the toe down to the mat, extend that leg all the way out, but hold on to those core muscles and the rib cage is also engaged. Really stretch that leg out to the tip of your toe, gently drawing the other knee in and release. And again. 1 more. Now we're going to really engage the core, lift the pelvic floor and switch. The toe comes down to the mat, slide it away and use the mat for a little bit of support. We'll hug the other knee in. We're going to pick up the tempo very slightly now. We're tightening the tummy muscles, drawing down with the ribs and lifting the pelvic floor, still using the mat for support. Exhale, lengthen to the tip of that toe. Exhale and stretch. Now if you're experiencing no pain in your back and you want to progress to the next level, we can just start to float that bottom leg a little bit up for a moment away from the floor. And 1 more. Well done. Now bring the feet back down to the mat, placed hip width apart, and establish your neutral spine position. Now we really need to engage the abs a little bit more now as we progress through. So drawing your belly button towards your spine and engaging your rib cage. We're incorporating some leg moves, so don't forget to lift your pelvic floor towards your center. Just with one leg at a time, going to float that leg into a tabletop position. Now in your tabletop position, the knee should be directly above your hip, with your lower leg level with the floor. Don't forget your foot. In Pilates, we're always extending the leg and the foot as well, reaching into the tip of that toe, so you can feel the muscles on the underside of the foot also working. We're going to do a little toe tap, so you're going to reach that leg slightly out, a little bit further out than your stationary leg as you breathe out, and then draw the leg back into that tabletop position. We'll do 3 more on that side. We're starting to work those tummy muscles as we lengthen that leg away from the center. We're drawing that belly button towards the spine and keeping those ribs engaged as you reach out and away. Well done. Now lower that leg and we'll do 4 on the other side. Engaging the core, lifting the pelvic floor before you move, and exhale up into your tabletop position. Breathe in, exhale and toe tap away. We're moving the thigh away from the tabletop position. Try not to use your knee as a hinge or drop your foot down like this. We're moving slightly further out than the stationary leg. Use your exhalation as you reach. Well done. We'll progress that move a little bit more now and come into a small extension. We're still keeping one leg down on the mat. Engage the abs, bring that leg into tabletop, and this time you're going to extend the leg up and out at 45 degrees. We're working deep into the thigh muscle as you fully straighten the leg all the way through the foot to the tip of your toe. Feel your abs working and your back remaining in that neutral position. Bring it back to tabletop and then lower. Let's move to the other side. Come into your tabletop. Take a breath in. Exhale, extend and reach to the tip of your toe. Inhale to tabletop and exhale to lower. Again, exhale. Take a breath. Exhale away. Inhale in and exhale down. Nice tabletop. We're drawing that belly button towards the spine, fully extending that leg to 45 degrees, returning to that nice tidy tabletop before lowering the leg. Don't forget we're engaging that pelvic floor as well as using the abdominals. You should feel those abs working as you make this move. And lower. Last time. And lower it down. Well done. Now we're just going to do a little stretch for the lower back now. So for this stretch, bring your feet together so there's no space between the toes, heels or the knees. We'll start off with the arms wide and slightly below shoulder height. Don't forget to stretch your fingers, they should not be curled. Press the shoulders back down into the mat. We'll keep the knees together and take them across to one side, allowing the opposite hip to lift away from the mat. Keep the knees as level as you can, toes and heels and knees together with no space. Feel the stretch all the way across your waist and your lower back, through the hip and down the side of the body. Now we're going to increase that stretch slightly. Keep both your shoulders flat and level on the ground. But take the opposite arm now, slightly higher than the shoulder. Stretch out those fingers, give that arm a lovely stretch, lengthening in the opposite direction to your knees. Then bring it back to center and bring the knees back to center as well. Now we're going to do the same stretch on the other side. So we'll rotate those knees across, lifting the sole of the foot and the opposite hip. Shoulders are staying nice and level. And we're taking a few deep breaths here as well. And then lengthening the opposite arm a little bit higher, up and out, and feel that stretch under the armpit. It's important the fingers are straight and we're reaching strongly to the tips of the fingers of both hands. Nice deep breath, and then bring that arm back and the knees back to center as well. Well done. Return your body to the neutral spine position, ready for our next move. Now for our next move, we're going to use the opposite arm and opposite leg, and we'll just do a level 1 dead bug. Stay long through the back of the neck, engage your core, belly button to the spine. Remember, we're drawing down a little bit in with the lower rib cage and lifting the pelvic floor towards the center. Take an inward breath to prepare, and as you exhale, we're going to slide the left leg and the right arm away from the center on the outward breath. Lengthen to the fingertips and to the toes. Inhale to return that back to your start position. Exhale, we're using the mat for a little bit of support. Don't allow the belly to lift or the ribs to lift. Keep them engaged. And inhale, center. Now, if you're experiencing no pain in your back, you can progress this to the next level. But if you are, and your back is a little bit vulnerable, just stick to this level 1, using the floor for support. Continue with these. For level 2s, we're going to float one leg plus 2 into a tabletop start position. This time, as you reach one leg up into the 45-degree angle, we're going to reach the arm up 45 degrees as well, away from that center on the outward breath. Bring everything back to the start. Keep those abs engaged. Exhale to reach away from the center. Inhale, back to your start position. Now notice I'm not dropping the arm onto the floor behind. I don't want to lose the ribs or the belly upwards away from the mat. If you drop your arm or have your leg too low, there might be unnecessary pressure on your lower back, and we're not quite ready for that yet. Exhale away and inhale, center. See if you can keep the remaining leg, the one that is remaining in tabletop, perfectly still as you do this move, without it moving towards you, disassociating the movement of your limbs. Now we're going to hug those knees in, rock them in and out a few times, then bring your toes together and circle the knees wide and out and down. Take some deep relaxation breaths. We're massaging that lower back into the mat. Now we're going to work those upper abs a little bit. We're starting to relax the back, but we'll work those abs a little bit deeper. We're going to start off with our simple ab curl. Float your fingertips behind the head and just interlock the ends of your fingers. Open those elbows as wide as you can, really opening the shoulders and pressing the elbows towards the mat. We're in our neutral spine position, and as we come into our curl, we're going to engage the abs a little bit more, squeezing those ribs downwards towards the hips. Inhale to prepare, staying long through the neck, and exhale, squeeze those ribs down towards your hips as you come into your curl. Inhale to re-peel the upper back to the mat. You should really see your ribs moving down and in. We're going to do 4 more. Keep drawing that belly button towards your spine and ribs towards your hips. Well done. And release those arms back to the mat. So for our next move, we're going to find a tabletop position. But if you have any kind of back pain or your back is feeling vulnerable, just stick to one leg at a time in your tabletop position. Otherwise, we're going to use the exhalation to float one leg and then the second leg into your tabletop. So we'll start off bringing those fingertips just behind the knees. In tabletop position, just hold on to the back of the knees there, but keep a little bit of softness in your elbows. We're tightening the tummy, and on the exhalation, push the knees into your hands. It's not a visible move, but you can feel pressure. You're pushing the knees into the hands and pulling the hands against the knees, drawing down with the abs and gently pressing your back in towards the mat. Be careful though, as you hold this position and breathe, that your chin doesn't lift up towards the ceiling. Just keep that long neck at the back. And then release. Take a breath. If you're doing this with one leg, then just switch to the other side. Next, we're going to engage the abs, hold your tabletop, but place the hands at the front of the knees. Still, there's some softness in those elbows. Abs are engaged. This time on the exhalation, push the hands against the knees against the hands, pressing the back into the mat. You should really feel those tummy muscles switching on deeply. Now we mustn't hold our breath. Even though we're pressing down, we've got a deep contraction. We need to breathe freely to the sides of the rib cage. See if you can hold that position, that contraction, for 10 seconds or so. And release. Now if you need to take a break, just hug those knees in for a moment and take some relaxation breaths. Now for our next move, we're going to again start off in that tabletop position. So begin by engaging the core and then float the knees out into your tabletop catch position with soft elbows. This time we've got one hand at the front of the knees and one hand behind. As you push with one hand, you're going to pull with the other and resist that movement with your legs. Feel the effect on the abs and on the pelvis. And hold. We'll do 5 seconds more. And 3, and 2, and 1. Release. Let's switch sides. One hand in front, one behind. Keep the knees level, shoulders level. Exhale and push. Hold and breathe. Keep those abs engaged. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. And then hug those knees in and just take that relaxation breath. Now we're going to bring the feet back down so that we can work the sides of the abdominals, the oblique muscles. If you are having any trouble with your back and you're finding that any sideways movement or rotation is causing you any kind of pain, you're going to come back and just do your straightforward ab curl move that we did earlier. Breathing out to draw the ribs down towards the hips. However, if your back is feeling pretty good now and you're not injured, bring those elbows wide, interlock the fingers behind your head, and we're going to keep one elbow down on the mat, engaging the core, exhaling across just to one side, drawing the opposite waist muscle down and in. Inhale to come back, and the same side again for 7 more. As you exhale across, working your oblique muscles, just keep a little eye on the knees and feet. We don't want those moving or twisting to the side as you work the oblique. We're keeping them square and level, even though the upper body is moving across to the side with that shoulder moving towards the centre. Also be careful not to bring your elbow right across the body like this. Keep that elbow out so it's just the shoulder that's moving towards the centre. And we'll do one more. Inhale, centre. Let's go to the opposite side now, and there should be no change in the position of the knees or the feet. And squeezing the ribs on that opposite side. And 3 more. And 1 more. Now we're going to alternate. And just be a little bit careful here as you move from side to side with the upper body. We don't want those knees swinging across in the opposite direction. 1 more each way. Well done. Now we can give those arms and shoulders a little bit of a rest. Just take some deep breaths and sweep the arms in a wide circle. Just ease them out for a moment. We can progress this move next into a level 2 or tabletop position. But if you're experiencing any pain in your lower back, stick to the one we have just done with your feet being supported down on the mat. Otherwise now, engaging the core, we're going to float one leg plus the second leg into your tabletop position. We're drawing the belly button towards the spine, engaging those ribs and lifting the pelvic floor. Placing the fingers in the start position, elbows wide. Alternate oblique. Now be careful here, your tabletop is not moving or swinging from side to side. Our goal is to disassociate the rotation of the upper body from the lower body, which is remaining static, square and level. One more. Well done. We'll hug those knees in and gently rock them in and out. Now you can repeat the level 1 with the feet down, or your level 2 with your feet maintaining your tabletop, or if you're feeling quite nice and strong, come with me now to level 3, which is our crisscross. We're going to float the legs into tabletop using the core muscles. Place the hands into the start position, elbows wide, and exhale into your ab curl, remaining in the curled up position. This time, as we take our small twist, the same side leg is extending to that 45 degrees straight down the mat. Inhale to center, exhale across. Inhale. Now be careful, the lower part of the body is not swinging from side to side. We're coming into that 45 degree angle with the lower body, level and straight with the mat, not across diagonally. The upper body is taking that small sidewards twist towards the center. Keep your elbows back. We're using the exhalation to move away from the center with the legs. The inhalation to return to that start position. And then hug those knees in. Well done if you manage those. So now we're going to come over onto our side. So carefully roll over and just place your hip close to the back edge of your mat. We're going to take the knees about 45 degrees, and those knees are bent with the feet in line with your hip. So a little bend at the knees. Line up the knees so they are the same length as each other. And we've got a few alternative positions for the upper body here. So either we can fold the arm back behind and just rest your head on your bicep or the inside of the arm, or you can lengthen that arm out and extend the fingers, which might be a little bit better, or place your head onto your hand if you prefer. We want to avoid, though, grabbing hold of the head or drawing it down and into this position here. So try not to tug onto your head. Keep the shoulders back as well. They shouldn't be folded forward. They're back in line with your hips, close to the back edge of your mat. Now, to start off with, we're just going to reach those hips and pelvis downwards a little bit towards the feet. So you might notice the underside of the body just beginning to draw a little bit from the mat, so that we're lengthening this hip down towards the knee. Just going to begin by engaging this little glute muscle here, just behind the hip. So have a go at squeezing that muscle, finding it, engaging it, and then releasing a few times. Just give it a little squeeze and release. Now, making sure our hips are staying in that vertical position with the pelvis drawing down towards the feet as you squeeze and release. As you squeeze your glute, we don't want that top hip to move backwards or move away from the mat, so keep lengthening down towards your knee. Now we've established a good position and just woken up that glute, bring your hand, place it in front, and we're going to keep the feet together to just open that knee a little bit away into the clamshell position, and then lower the knee back down. Exhale and just lift that knee away. You can really start to feel that glute working now, the one that you woke up earlier. We're keeping the toes and the heels together and that bottom heel pressing down into the mat. And it's important, if you do suffer with a little bit of back problem or stiffness in your back, those glutes can go to sleep or switch off. So it's important that we can wake them up and just get them activated and working and firing properly in order to support the back and the hips. Next, we're going to float that leg up and away into a parallel position. Alright, so the knee is above the knee, foot is above the foot, and the lower leg is level with the bottom leg. And then lower it back down. So it's the whole leg now, moving a little bit away on the exhalation and lowering. And two more. And lowering. And we want those knees to stay the same length, so that top knee is reaching down and away to keep these hips in the vertical position. On the next one, we're going to come up into the parallel position, and this time extend the leg down the mat and back a little bit, so the leg is coming back in line with your body. Stretch into those toes, and we can not only feel the glute switching on, but the whole side of the body now is working to support that move. Bring it back to parallel and then lower it down. So we're lifting the leg, extending it back until it's in line with the body. A little bit of a balance challenge here. And then parallel and lower it down. Do two more. Lift, extend and reach, stretching into those toes. Back to parallel and lower. And one more. Extend. Into that parallel position and then lower it down. Well done. Now we're going to do some little circles. So just bring that leg back, stretch it down the mat. It should be behind your bottom leg, quite a long way behind as you reach it down and away from you. Stretching into the toes then, we're just going to draw some small, crisp little circles. We're using those waist muscles quite strongly, drawing down with the ribs and breathing. And Well done. Just do a couple more in that direction and then reverse it. Very nice, and bring it back in. Now we're going to extend the legs towards the front corner of the mat, and I'm going to come up onto my elbow now. If you want to, you can stay down with your head on your arm, but if your shoulder is feeling okay, come up onto the elbow. The elbow is now directly underneath the shoulder, and we're extending the feet towards the front corner of the mat and really drawing in with the belly and the ribs on that side. That front hand is just on the mat in front there. I'm going to lift the top leg now and reach that leg towards the back corner of the mat. So they are definitely split. That top leg is reaching towards the back corner of the mat, and the bottom leg is reaching towards the front corner of the mat. A little lower and lift of that back leg. Exhale as you stretch into those toes. Try and stay tall so you're not sinking down into your shoulder, and really lengthen up through the side of the neck. And a couple more little lifts. Well done. And then we're going to make a circle with that top leg. It's only a small circle, but the circle is behind the bottom leg. That small circle behind the bottom leg. We're working deep into that side glute muscle and into the side waist muscle. Really stretch that leg. Well done. And we'll just finish releasing the back a little bit. So bend the knee and gently draw that knee forwards, keeping the leg parallel with the ground, and gently sending it backwards towards the back wall. The leg is slowly coming forwards and slowly coming backwards. And just breathing gently in and exhale. And one more there, in and exhale. Well done. Bring the feet together, and we're going to move that bottom knee out in front, then the top knee towards the back, and come up onto the hand into a Z sit or mermaid sit position. We'll take a gentle stretch. So coming as upright as possible, use your fingertips just on the ankle or the shin there to work your way up into a more upright position. We're lengthening up out of the waist into the crown of the head. And you can either just hold that position and just enjoy that stretch through the glute, or lengthen the arm and reach all the way up towards the ceiling. Bring the bicep close to your ear. Well done. Release that one down, and we're going to go to the other side. So stretch the other arm up. Might find it easier on that side. Lengthen. And we'll take it out as well, slowly down to the elbow, overhead, and really lengthening down the side of the body there. Just take a deep breath. And now we'll rotate to face the mat. Just bring that knee in. Take your back leg out behind you and start to reach the chest towards the inner thigh. Really stretch out that back leg. Just hold it for a few breaths. Stretch out the glute on that side, and then work your way up, if you can, into a slightly higher position. And it's a lovely stretch through that bottom glute. And release. Well done. Now we're going to switch sides of the mat. So coming down to the opposite side, we started off with the hip close to the back edge of the mat, with the shoulder close to the back edge of the mat, and you can either extend your arm, fold the arm behind, or just lift the head and place it on top. We're lengthening the pelvis down towards the feet. The hips are vertical, The knees are the same length and they are bent a little bit in front of you. We're starting off with just some little squeezes of that glute. Just find and activate the glute if you can. Just a little squeeze of that top glute on the exhalation. Check out those hips are staying vertical as you make those little contractions. And one more. Well done. Next we did our little clamshell move, so toes and heels and knees all lined up. Hip is not going to move as we lift that knee away. It's important that we don't rock the body backwards in order to lift that knee. It is much better to just come a small way, but feel the movement coming from this muscle that may have gone to sleep, this little glute here, particularly if you've suffered with any kind of back trauma or back pain in the past. That can sometimes happen, and it can take a while to reactivate that glute. So exhale to lift and keep everything engaged, and one more. Well done. Next we did that little parallel move where you're floating the leg up, knee above knee, foot above foot, and we're trying to keep the lower leg more or less level with the floor, and then lowering it carefully down so the knee and the foot land at the same time as well. And we don't want the foot to lead this movement or the knee to lead either. We're going to try and keep them moving at the same height. A lot of control and much deeper work then from the glute there. Use the exhalation. Now we're coming into the parallel move and then extending that leg down the mat so it's in line with your body now. It's come back a little bit. You're stretching through the hip flexor. You're squeezing the waist muscle. We're squeezing this glute, lengthening the leg and stretching those toes as well. Back into the parallel position before you lower. And again, exhale, stretch. I can feel that move all the way up the side of my back as well. And back to the parallel position and lower. Two more. Stretch. Well done. And just make this one the last one. Well done. And for our next move, we're going to do some little tiny circles. So we're going to lengthen that leg out, level with the body, and just draw some tiny little circles around the hip height area. And you can breathe in for one circle and out for one circle. Keep stretching those toes though, and keep those hips in that vertical position. Don't let that top hip drift towards the back. Let's reverse it. We're trying to keep the rest of the body as still and static as possible. So even though you're swinging your leg gently, try not to allow your shoulders or your body to move on the mat. And just a couple more there. Well done. And then bring that knee back in. Now I'm going to come up onto my elbow, but if you prefer, you can stay down. And just placing that elbow underneath the shoulder now, and lengthening the legs and the feet towards the front corner of your mat. So just establishing that slight curve through the body. We do want this top hip to be directly above the bottom hip though, so it's not moving towards the back. Nice and long and tall under the armpit and along the side of the neck. So reaching out, we're just going to bring that top leg back now and point it towards the back corner of your mat. And you can really feel this glute working all the way up the side of the back, keeping this top hip rolled forward slightly. Some little taps to start, just a few little taps. Now as you do these, you can exhale to lift. Try not to allow the body to begin to sink down into the shoulder. So try and stay up lengthening into the crown of the head. We'll just do a couple more there, and then we're going to begin those circles. So the circle is behind that bottom leg. And inhale, exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Let's reverse it, so circle it back the other way. Well done, stay tall. Can we do 2 more? Breathing in and breathing out. Well done. Now I'm just going to bend that knee and just bring it forward. Keep the leg level with the floor and send it back. And bring it forward and send it back. So we've kind of got a level 1 leg lift here. So just push it forward and bring it back, just releasing outside of the body there. Well done. And then we're ready for our little Z sit or mermaid sit position. So I'm going to bend the knees, carefully come up, front knee is in front, top knee is bending towards the back, and come up onto the hand. Holding onto the shin or the ankle with your fingertips, and just work your way up a little bit taller and straighter. Now you can hold on to the ankle with one hand and just hold this position and try and sit tall, or you can lengthen the arm all the way up towards the ceiling. And we're sending those sit bones down into the mat as you stretch and lengthen. Well done, nice stretch. Let's go to the other side. Lengthen, biceps close to the ear, and then if we can, we'll take that down slowly to the side, down onto the elbow, and lengthen all the way to the ends of those fingertips. Well done. Now we're going to rotate the body towards the mat, so keep that knee bent a little bit underneath the body, elbows go either side of that knee, and then I'm going to straighten out the back leg and rotate my body to face the mat. Now you want the kneecap of the back leg to be pointing down at the mat, and if you can, just walk that up a little bit higher and feel that lovely stretch. We're lengthening into the crown of the head, and you can feel the stretch all the way through that glute, and then release. Well done. Now while we're here, we're going to come down onto our tummies and just place those elbows directly underneath the shoulders. So we're in our Sphinx position now, with the elbow directly underneath the shoulder and those fingers extended out in front. You're kind of pushing down and forward a little bit with those elbows, and make sure the elbows are not wider than the body. Here you can see there's not a good angle, and also make sure the elbows are not too far back under the body, otherwise you'll find that position quite a struggle. So keep them down and forward underneath your shoulders, and we're engaging our glutes again, so squeezing those buttocks, squeezing the back muscles, pressing down with the shoulders towards the elbows, and lengthening up the back of the neck, so that chin is just softly coming in as you stretch into the crown of the head. And we've got a lovely Sphinx position, and we're working quite hard with the arms in this position as well. So squeezing those buttocks. Now see if you can keep the body square and level, and just lengthen one arm a little bit away and place it back down. Now we don't want to rock the body. We're just reaching a little bit away and then coming back down. So it's a little bit like a half Superman. And coming back down. We'll just do one more each way. Try not to shift from side to side. Well done. And on the next exhalation, a little curl up with the belly button towards the spine. We're squeezing the ribs in and we're curling away from the mat with the pubic bone, the upper thighs and the belly into a half plank. Tighten those tummy muscles. Inhale and return the hips back down to the mat. Exhale and squeeze and curl. Really engaging those tummy muscles, drawing the ribs in, belly button in, and return. And 2 more. Keep lengthening the back of the neck as you squeeze those tummy muscles and curl. And 1 more. Push down into those elbows and inhale. Well done. On the next exhalation, squeeze the glutes, lengthen the feet, and we're just going to start to float the elbows a little bit away from the floor. Half cobra and return. And again, squeeze those glutes, stretch the back of the neck, shoulders are pushing down and return. And just 2 more. Perhaps coming a little higher if you can keep those shoulders down. And 1 more. Well done. Now we're just going to carefully come up onto all fours. So you might want to come over onto your side if your back is feeling a little bit tight. Bring the knees under and then find your all four position. We have got the wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. And we're just going to give that back a gentle stretch. On the next exhalation, drawing the belly button towards the spine and rounding the back. The opposite direction to the exercise we just did. Draw the chin in towards your chest and lengthen the back of the neck. Press the middle of the back towards the ceiling. Hold your stretch. Take a breath into the back of the rib cage. Tuck that tail right underneath. And release. Now taking the knees as wide as the mat, toes together. Push back with your tail high and start to sit back with your tail and lower the chest a little bit at a time. Slightly lower towards the mat. Stretching out those fingers. And then lastly, bringing the head in line with the neck and the spine. The chest is the lowest point here, not the head. The arms and shoulders are also getting a stretch, as well as the spine. And then we're going to come back onto the all four position. Wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Bring that head up and in line, and we want 4 square legs of our table. We're going to slide 1 leg and 1 arm a little bit away without shifting the weight. Begin to lengthen and up, squeezing the glute. Inhale. Exhale to slowly lower. Keep them straight. Keep your pelvis level. And slide them slowly back in. 4 square legs of the table. Straight slide out. We're using the floor for support. Stay at this level if you want to. Make sure the hips have not swung in the opposite direction and the pelvis is level before you extend further and begin to lift. Inhale and lower and slide it in. Nice and slow we're going. Let's go again. Well done. One more each side. Now, if you struggle with your knees, you can do your Superman position lying down on your tummy. So if that's you, just come down for this move, lifting the opposite arm and opposite leg from this position. Well done. Now we're going to find our child's pose position just one more time. Knees as wide as the mat, toes together. Let's sit back first with the tail high and then walk the shoulder width arms out until the chest begins to lower between those knees. Once the chest is as low as it will go, you can bring that head in line and breathe. Well done. Now we're just going to stretch out the hamstrings and glutes to finish, and it's important to keep them long and free, particularly if you're suffering with your lower back. So if you have a stretchy band, resistance band, or you could use a pair of tights, a tie, or even a towel, just to give you a little bit of assistance with your hamstring stretch. Roll down carefully or come onto your side and then come down onto the mat. I'm going to open up the band and place it underneath the ball of your foot. I've got the bottom foot bent, bottom knee bent with the foot flat, and it is in line with my hip. I'm starting off with neutral spine, and it's important that we're nice and long through the back of the neck. So if you normally use a head block or towel, do place it underneath. We don't want that chin lifting up towards the ceiling. Holding onto your resistance band with light tension, place your elbows down onto the floor. And we're going to lengthen the leg all the way up towards the ceiling and just give it a good stretch. As you lengthen your leg into the band, it's important that the glute stays down on the mat and doesn't round away like this. So keep pressing down into your sit bone as you stretch the leg into the band. And we're just breathing as we lengthen that leg towards the band. Now what can happen is the chin can lift because the back of the neck begins to shorten as we lengthen through the sciatic nerve. So just lengthen the back of the neck, keep pressing that chin down and push the shoulders into the mat. You can either hold this position or take it slightly across the leg if your hip is in good condition. Take it across the body to the opposite side, just to get the outside of the hamstrings there. And just taking a few breaths in that position before opening the leg out to the side. Keep those elbows down on the mat. We'll come back to center and just apply a little bit more on the towel or on the band. You can shorten it up. And again, taking it across. If you've got a bit of a problem with your hip, it might be an idea to keep your legs straight rather than going across the body, but it should be okay for you to open gently out to the side. And then come center, and we'll try lengthening out that bottom leg as well now. So you're pressing into the mat with your bottom leg, keeping everything engaged. Nice deep breath. We're not holding the breath. And then release. Now we're going to switch feet and place the other leg down. Push the elbows into the floor and begin to lengthen that leg. Make sure your foot is directly above your hip to begin with. Pressing into the mat with the back of the neck and the shoulders and keeping your butt down on the mat. If your hip is in good condition, take it across the body. If it isn't, keep it straight. We'll take a few breaths in that position and then a little bit out to the side as well. Come center, and we're going to apply a little bit more on this leg. So just pull it towards you and breathe. Again, if you want to, bring it across. Oh, that's quite tight. I can feel that one. And out. And center. And then we're extending that bottom leg down the mat. So you stretch into those toes, press the knee down into the floor, tighten those tummy muscles as well. Give it a good stretch and release. Bend the knee and just take away your band or your towel. Well done. So our last little stretch, which helps to release the lower back and the glutes, we're going to bring the ankle and place it across the thigh, opening the knee out to the side. And already you can feel that nice stretch through the glute, but you can apply a little bit of pressure with your hand if your hip is in good condition. Now, if that's not quite enough for you, have a go at reaching through the leg and holding on to the back of the thigh or even the shin. And just enjoying that stretch for a few easy breaths. We'll release that one out and go to the opposite side. The ankle goes across the thigh. Open the knee. If your hip is okay, you can apply a little bit of pressure and just encourage that knee away. And even a little bit of rocking movement from side to side. That's quite nice. We can reach through and hold on to the back of the thigh. Or if you can, even the shin, so crossing over, lacing those fingers and drawing it toward you for a little bit more. And then releasing that out, we're going to place the feet hip width apart. Just relax the arms, palms uppermost. Take the knees all the way across to one side. Keep the shoulders relaxed into the mat. A deep breath. And slowly exhale to center. Inhale across to the opposite side. Pressing the opposite shoulder down. And exhale to center. Just one more time each way. And last time. Well done. Well, I hope you enjoyed the exercises we did today for the lower back, and please do like and subscribe, as that's a free way to support our channel. Also, do come along and join us for some relaxation, and I'll look forward to seeing you all again on the water soon.